So Far Cry is one of those games I own a few iterations of, and I haven't played extensively any of them. But I do have a fun story related to one of them. I believe it's Far Cry 5, because what happened was a while back, my one of my best friends who lives upstairs from me convinced me to get Far Cry on one of those PlayStation deals, like one of those hot deals that like lightning deals that shows up on PlayStation Store sometimes. So I got a few of them, and then I bought Far Cry 5. I was playing it for a little bit, and I got to this location where there was like a radio, and I heard this song playing on the radio, and I'm like, that's a cool song. So I did the Soundhound thing, and it was by an artist named Davis. It was a song called Get Mine. And I'm like, this is such a dope song, and I listened to it so many times, and I reached out to the artist, and then we became friends, and I use his music on my other YouTube channel all the time. I've used it here like once or twice, and I'll probably use it more, but it was just a neat little story. Like, that's my relationship to Far Cry 5, is I got to meet a dope artist who now allows me to use his music on my YouTube channels. He's one of the coolest guys.
He's really awesome.
If you haven't heard of him before, check him out. There'll be a link in the description below. Davis, like the introduction song for me was Get Mine, and I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs. Anyway, like I said, I have a few Far Cry games. I haven't beat any of them. I've just like dabbled with them. So like just know that going into this. We got Far Cry 6 here, official reveal trailer from Ubisoft Forward. This is off of IGN's YouTube channel. If you would like to see Let's Plays of Far Cry, let us know in the comments below, and ACHARA will be happy to suck at the game for you. I almost left it at suck for you, but that would sound horrible.
That's terrible,
That sounds very
Jaby.
weird and suggestive.
Don't ever say that in front of me ever again.
Okay. Hashtag not my ACHARA.
That looks good. Where are we?
It's beautiful, amigo. Perfect, but useless.
Oh.
I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
Papa.
Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
What are you doing?
Breathe, Diego. Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let go that this grenade goes boom. Follow me. Now.
I don't think I want him as my daddy.
I am El Presidente, which means that
He's gonna have to throw it into the crowd.
Will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves, they will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong. They will answer you with screams, call you evil, a monster, and give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? Are you a monster? Because our country is like this grenade, except it has 2 basic parts. Our people and you must clutch them nice.
much more from Far Cry 6.
That is the most compelling trailer for Far Cry
Yeah.
that I've ever seen. I've paid attention to Far Cry since I think Far Cry 3 is when I first started to take notice. This is the one that has me the most captivated.
Well, they've got like a really, really excellent
Gus!
actor.
Gus!
I know, I'm like, it's Gus Fring, but like,
Yeah.
I know that's not his real name. But he's awesome.
He also wields the black lightsaber? And, oh shit. Whatever. Statute of limitations is passed.
Oh, in
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian,
Yeah.
yeah. But he is an awesome villain. Like, he just exudes so much menace in a, like, not very physically intimidating package.
His name is Giancarlo Esposito or
Giancarlo Esposito.
Esposito, yeah.
Yes.
I'll always know him as Gus. The animation on this was very interesting. It was very peculiar because obviously it's a cutscene, right?
Yeah.
It didn't say in-game footage.
It looked like a cutscene, to be fair. Like, I thought it looked really pretty.
So here's the thing. There's a shift happening in cutscenes right now because before it used to be, like if you go watch Last of Us, any cutscenes from Last of Us and you watch Ellie acting, there's a lot of like extra head movement involved when they're talking and people don't really talk like this in real life.
Right.
But they do that in games to give it life in lieu of having like all the muscles of expression, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to do extra. But there's this shift happening towards making it more and more lifelike and cinematic. So if you watch his behavior, when he's talking, he's a lot more calm and as he would be like as Gus Fring, right? Any intimidating character, that's how he behaves, and he's really, really good at that. Just like Sam Jackson's good at the cussing. How do you say his name?
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo is really good at that, like menacing, intimidating, calm, collected character, and he wasn't deviating from that. It's really cool to see that shift, but we're caught in that halfway point, that transitional point, because they're moving towards that, which is nice, but there's still that sort of like slight uncanny valley effect because I'm so used to the former where it's like there's a lot more movement, and so
Right.
he's just sort of locked off, and the hand movement, like I started to wonder about what was going into the motion capture of it. Like, did they have a grenade? Because of the way he was touching it and whatnot, I'm like, what were the props that they were using when they did the mocap? And so my mind just went into that a little bit just because I've got a little bit of experience in that world. Not that I've done mocap, but I've been around it. I've held auditions for many mocap related projects to video games. I can't talk about any of them because I signed NDAs, but like some big games, I've been able to be part of the audition process. I've auditioned for it and I see what it's like, and I have friends who do mocap, so I have a little bit of insight into that world, and it's just kind of fascinating to like see the evolution of it all. What's a little bit concerning, I love that he's in this, okay? We've been having celebrities in games for quite some time now, but it seems like you're seeing it more than before. And it's just like, it used to be that you could have these obscure people playing these characters, these main characters in games, and now you're getting stars in games.
Really, really, really good actors.
And so I almost wonder if this is sort of a necessity as we move forward with, you know, the pandemic and whatnot. Like, how do we continue to tell stories? And I had this thought, like, animation would be the way forward because people can be safe, you know, away from each other and whatnot. And I think with mocap, you could be even more safe with a shield while you're doing your acting and whatnot, and you're none the wiser as an audience.
Right.
But anyway, back to this. The premise of the game looks really, really, really compelling, and it makes me wonder who you are because, you know, I would imagine that you're not any of these characters. I would imagine you're some obscure person who's part of the rebellion against this dictator.
I was wondering that too, because it was like, okay, are we going to play as like the bad guy, or is it like Diego kind of trying to come into his own and making choices for how to lead the country? But it was just an interesting little cinematic that they did here because it is really compelling, you know, because you're seeing this young boy who, for all intents and purposes, is innocent, and he's getting this education into how to be a dictator, and that's just like really disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know who's like where you are in the gameplay of it, but I remember, I think it was Far Cry 5. There was this controversial cover that had come out because you saw this white guy on what people thought was a black guy, but it turns out he was like some other ethnicity. I forget what exactly the controversy was. But anyway, on the cover was the main villain. That's who I was introduced to first before I even played the game.
Right.
And so, as the main character, I don't remember there being any specifics about, I mean, who you're playing as. I don't remember any specifics about him. If it's sort of kept anonymous so that you can sort of just insert yourself into the game.
Right.
I can't remember. It was a while back that I played Far Cry. But nevertheless, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Just the premise is so freaking interesting. I can't remember another game that I've played that is dealing with this topic in this sort of area, and it feels so relevant to everything going on right now.
Yeah.
I think that's the cool thing. And so games are really making this leap forward in terms of, I mean, back in the day, Metal Gear Solid was trying to do it, like talking about nuclear warfare, nuclear arms and whatnot, and they always tried to throw on this message after all this violence. Like, nuclear war is bad, you know, and so it's been going on for a little while. We've done games related to war in the past. There was Desert Storm games on Sega Genesis and whatnot, but like, it's really moving forward in terms of having a message that it's communicating.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more strong in that regard. And I think that's fascinating to see this hybrid more and more of movie and game. I mean, that's what it looks like at the outset. What I'm saying kind of nothing to do with it, and it's just a backdrop for an interesting, you know, shoot 'em up game or something. But I like it so far. I can't wait to see a gameplay trailer.
Yeah, I want to know how it works. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But it does just feel so visceral.
Yeah.
Like, and just the shots and everything that they were doing as well. It just felt like you're watching a movie. Like
Cinematic.
The bit where, you know, the first step the boy takes and they pan down to his shoes, I was like, oh God, don't trip. And then he trips and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much.
It's well done.
It's really good.
You guys, let us know your feelings in the comments below. I'm really excited about this. Check out ACHARA KIRK on the social media as well as the Jabs if you feel like doing that. Again, let us know in the comments if you are interested in seeing us do Let's Plays to previous Far Cry games. If so, which ones? And we'll figure it out from there. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.